Let us continue reading this book by Uriah Smith, 1897, Daniel Revelation. And we are now reading the comments from Daniel chapter 9, verses 25 to 27. Our Father in heaven, bless the reading of your word. I pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. We are now reading page 199 and this paragraph here. Now, which of these commissions, Ezra's or Nehemiah's, constitutes the decree for the restoration of Jerusalem, from which the 70 weeks are to be dated? It hardly seems that there can be any question on this point. Number one, the grant to Nehemiah cannot be called a decree. It was necessary that the Persian decree should be put in writing and signed by the king, Daniel 6, verse 8. Such was the document given to Ezra. But Nehemiah had nothing of the kind, his commission being only verbal. If it be said that the letters given him constituted the decree was issued not to Nehemiah, but to the governors beyond the river. Besides, these would constitute a series of decrees and not one decree, as the prophecy contemplates. Number two, the occasion of Nehemiah's petition to the king for permission to go up to Jerusalem was this report which certain ones returning had brought from thence, that those in the province were in great affliction and reproach, also that the wall of Jerusalem was broken down, and the gates thereof burned with fire. Nehemiah chapter 1. Whose work were these walls and gates that were broken down and burned with fire? Evidently the work of Ezra and his associates. For it cannot for a moment be supposed that the utter destruction of the city by Nebuchadnezzar, 144 years previous at that time, would have been reported to Nehemiah as a matter of news, nor that he would have considered it, as he evidently did, a fresh misfortune calling for a fresh expression of grief. A decree, therefore, authorizing the building of these had gone forth previous to the grant to Nehemiah, and the attempt that had been made to execute the work had fallen into embarrassment, which Nehemiah wished to relieve. Number three, if any should contend that Nehemiah's commission must be a decree because the object of his request was that he might build the city, it is sufficient to reply as shown above that gates and walls had been built previous to his going up. Besides, the work of building which he went to perform was accomplished in 52 days, whereas the prophecy allows for the building of the city 7 weeks or 49 years. Number four, there was nothing granted to Nehemiah which was not embraced in the decree to Ezra. While the latter had all the forms and conditions of a decree and was vastly more ample in its provisions. Number five, it is evident from the prayer of Ezra as recorded in chapter 9 and verse 9 of his book that he considered himself fully empowered to proceed with the building of the city and the wall. And it is evident that he understood further that the conditional prophecies concerning his people were then fulfilled from the closing works of that prayer, in which he says, should we again break thy commandments and join in affinity with the people of these abominations? Wouldst not thou be angry with us till thou hadst consumed us, so that there should be no remnant nor escaping? Number six, reckoning from the commission to Nehemiah, BC 444, the dates throughout are entirely disarranged. For from that point, the troublesome times which were attend to the building of the street and wall did not last 7 weeks or 49 years. Reckoning from the date, the 69 weeks, nor 483 years, which were to extend to the Messiah the Prince, bring us to AD 40. But Jesus was baptized of John in Jordan, and the voice of the Father was heard from heaven declaring that him, his Son, in AD 27, 13 years before. According to this calculation, the midst of the last or 70th week, which is marked by the crucifixion, is placed in AD 44. But the crucifixion took place in AD 31, 13 years previous. And lastly, the 70 weeks or 490 years dating from the 20th of Artaxerxes extended to AD 47, which absolutely nothing to mark their termination. Hence, if that be the year and the grant to Nehemiah the event from which to reckon, the prophecy has proved a failure. As it is It only proves the theory of failure, which dates the 70 weeks from Nehemiah's commission in the 20th year of Artaxerxes. Number 7. Will these dates harmonize if we reckon from the decree to Ezra? Let us see. In this case, 457 BC is our starting point. 49 years were alluded to the building of the city and the wall. This, Prideaux, Connection, Volume 1, page 322 says, in the 15th year of Darius Nothos ended the first 7 weeks of Daniel's prophecy. For then the restoration of the church and state of the Jews in Jerusalem and Judea was fully accomplished. In that last act of reformation, which is recorded in the 30th chapter of Nehemiah, from the 23rd verse to the end of the chapter, just 49 years after it had been commenced by Israel in the 7th year of Artaxerxes Longimanus. This was busy before Christian era, before Christ, 408. We'll read the next comments the next time. May God our Father to bless you and His only begotten divine Son, Jesus Christ, be gracious to you now and forevermore. Amen.